Welcome back to Mr. Silence. Tonight, we step into a hotel lobby where safety is an illusion, and room 214 never had a guest. And always remember, stories may sound the same, but not when I tell them. Night shift was my routine. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., 3 floors, 40 rooms, 10, maybe 15 occupied on weeknights. At midnight, the doors lock, guests buzz, I press a button, and the world slides open a few inches. The lobby was small, 2 couches, a TV that no one watched, a pair of vending machines humming like tired lungs. Behind the desk, a glass window into my tiny back office. Computer, clipboard, a chair with one uneven leg that ticked against tile if I moved wrong. We had a rhythm. The heater clicked, the keycard panel sighed, the security monitors traded grainy frames of empty halls. I liked the silence. It felt honest. At 11:03, the buzzer rasped. I let him in. Mid-40s, tall, jeans, baseball cap pulled low, backpack with a sagged strap, voice flat. One night. I quoted the rate. He slid a card. The swiper chirped the way it always does. I slid a key in a sleeve. 214. Circled the elevator on the map like I always do. He looked at me too long. Not aggressive, just blank and unblinking, like a camera that forgot to click. Then he turned and walked to the elevator without a word. I exhaled, told myself I was being dramatic, and went back to my chair with the uneven leg. By midnight, he was back. No knock, no small talk, just sat on the couch facing the TV that wasn't on. He didn't check his phone, didn't doze, didn't breathe loud enough to prove he was real. When I crossed to the vending machine for water, the air changed. You can feel a tension like temperature. I didn't look at him, but my body did. Shoulders tight, steps too neat. I thought, maybe insomnia, maybe travel jitters. I told the anxious part of me to stand down. It didn't. 1:07 a.m. I refreshed the system to fight boredom and froze. 214, vacant. No check-in log, no payment record, keycard door activity, none. I dialed 214 out of stubbornness. The ringtone echoed down a hallway that never knew him. I looked up. He was still on the couch, watching a blank screen like it was teaching him patience. There are glitches, I told myself. Once a credit card batch duplicated on us. Once the printer refused to stop. But this wasn't a squeaky printer. This was a person attached to a room that didn't exist. At 2:02, the couch was empty. He reappeared near the lobby bathrooms, half swallowed by shadow, then drifted back as if he'd never moved. I called my manager, woke her, voice small against the static. "Keep an eye on him," she said. "If he threatens, call the police." On the cameras, first floor hallway, he walks to the end, stops, hands in pockets, head tilted, listening to a building that wasn't speaking. Stairwell cam. He stands between flights for 10 long minutes, facing the corner like a student in trouble. I learned the map of him. Corner, corridor, vending glow, elevator reflection, like he was rehearsing exits I hadn't given him. 3:47. The buzzer rang. Late guest, weekend bag, apologetic smile. I let him in. The man in the cap turned, tracking the stranger across the lobby like he was reading subtitles on a silent movie. When the guest's elevator doors closed, the man looked back at me. Not angry, not kind, just calm. My hands were steady on the desk where he could see them. Predators hate surprises. So do night clerks. I glanced at the hallway cam and felt my stomach go cold. He stood at a guest door, centered in the frame, doing nothing. Not knocking, not leaving, just angled toward the pee-hole like a whisper might come through. I dialed 911. The dispatcher's voice was a lighthouse, calm, bright, far away.
Stay where you are. Officers en route.
Minutes are longest when help exists but isn't present. The camera timer bled seconds. He finally walked back to the lobby and approached the desk. He leaned over the counter, just arms and cap and the soft scrape of jacket fabric.
Any food? Vending. Corner.
A small, wrong smile. He drifted away. At 4:10, the parking lot turned to liquid, red and blue lights sliding over puddles and glass. 2 officers stepped in, posture made of procedure. He sat back on the couch, hands loose, eyes on nothing. They asked for ID. Questions came low, practiced. They walked him out without drama. An officer returned, voice gentler than I expected. The credit card was stolen. There was never a reservation. He'd used the lobby buzz to get inside and stay inside. They charged him with trespassing and the card offense. When the doors shut behind them, the lobby was too quiet, like a song paused mid-breath. I finished the shift because that's what you do. Printed reports, locked the cash drawer, powered down the monitor grid. But the building learned a new sound, my breath catching whenever the buzzer clicked. People ask what scared me most. Not the stare, not the stairwell, not the moment his forearms framed the service bell and his voice fell like a secret. It was the practice, the way he studied the lobby like a blueprint, the late guest like a pattern, the hallways like a script. He was never a guest. He was rehearsal. The night shift is supposed to be quiet, predictable, safe behind glass and fluorescent lights. But what if someone knows your name and you never told them? My name's Meredith. I'm 24. I work the overnight shift at a tiny gas station off County Road 11, the kind of place you only notice when your tank's empty or when something's wrong. I liked it quiet. The hum of the coolers, the faint smell of burnt coffee, the creak of the door sensors. You start to memorize every sound, every flicker. Every truck that rattles past at 2 a.m. feels like company. That night, even the air outside felt still, like it was waiting for something to happen. The door chimed. A man walked in. Mid-40s, green coat, messy hair, lips dry like he hadn't smiled in years. He didn't grab snacks or coffee. He just stood near the counter, staring. "Hi," I said, pretending his eyes didn't crawl across my name tag, except I wasn't wearing one. "You always work this late?" he asked. "Yeah, mostly," I answered. He smiled too slow. "I figured. I've passed through a few times. It's always you." I laughed, short and fake. "Small town, right?" He nodded once. "Meredith, right?" My heart sank. My name wasn't anywhere. "You've got nice handwriting," he said. He pointed toward the whiteboard where I'd written, "Cinnamon coffee is back." Most people dot their I's like circles. You use slashes. That's very specific. I didn't respond. My throat was too dry. He lingered another minute, eyes flicking between my face and the board like he was memorizing both. Then he said, "Just curious, that's all," and walked out into the fog. After that, he started coming back. Not every night, just enough that I stopped believing in coincidence. Sometimes he'd buy a bottle of water, sometimes he'd just park under the sign with his lights off. I started carrying a tire iron under the counter, just in case curiosity had a second meaning. One night, he came in again. "You ever get scared, being a woman alone at night?" he asked. His voice wasn't angry, it was curious, like he was asking about the weather. I stepped back and said, "Do you need anything else?" He tilted his head. "You always keep that back door locked. Smart. I notice you check it around 2 a.m. almost every night." I felt my stomach twist. He wasn't guessing. He was watching. When he left, I locked every door twice, and still, I could feel his eyes from the parking lot, even after his car disappeared into the fog. The next night, I came back from my 10-minute break and found something on the counter. A Polaroid photo of me, taken from outside the store. I was refilling the windshield washer bin earlier that night, smiling at nothing, unaware. No note. Just a red circle around the letter I in the word windshield. He'd been there, close enough to take the picture, close enough to know what pen I used. When he came back, I didn't hesitate. Leave or I'm calling the police. He nodded calmly. I get it. I've been too forward. You've been following me, I snapped, voice shaking. I just think you're misunderstood. I thought maybe you'd appreciate someone who pays attention. That's not paying attention. That's obsession. He tilted his head again, soft smile fading. Would it be easier if I talked about the weather? Pretended I didn't notice your shoes are half a size too big, or how your eyelid twitches when you're tired? I dialed 911 before he could finish. He didn't stop me. He just stood there, waiting, like he knew this was how the story would end. The police came fast. He didn't resist, just stood with his hands at his sides, quiet, as if relieved. They searched his car. Inside, a notepad with pages of notes, my shifts, the color of my sweaters, when I checked the back door, the times I refilled the bins. One page just had my name written over and over until the ink bled. The restraining order went through that week. I transferred 2 towns over. New lights, new locks, same unease. But sometimes, when I drive home at night and see headlights following too long, my neck prickles. And I still think about how he said my name, like he'd practiced it. Sometimes, danger doesn't come crashing through doors. Sometimes, it walks in, smiles, and learns your handwriting.
And that's the end of tonight's shift. 2 stories, 2 reminders that the quietest hours aren't always the safest. If you've ever worked alone at night, you know that sound, the hum that turns into a heartbeat when something doesn't feel right. There are still 2 more true night shift stories waiting in the dark, so make sure you're subscribed before the lights go out. And always remember, stories may sound the same, but not when I tell them.